3,738 voting stations in the province were used for voter registration weekend. A lot of the stations were in schools, but 101 temporary stations, mostly in tents. The IEC in the province says it's happy with the first day of the voter registration weekend. Our reporter Refilwe Seboko is joining us for more details. Refilwe, we've heard from the IEC expressing their satisfaction with today's program regarding registrations. What would you say the state of affairs is there?
We'll just find out right now, Nhlanhla, from Dr Tumelontle Thiba, who is the electoral officer of the IEC in the Northwest Province, to say, just give us a sense of how the first day of the voter registration weekend went. Thank you so much and welcome to Newzroom Afrika, Dr Thiba. Talk to us about the first day of the voter registration weekend. Was it off to a good start?
Yes, relatively so, in the sense that out of 1,738 voting stations, only 13 did not open on time, and the last station of the 13 opened about probably 30 minutes ago, around 14:30. 9 of those stations are located in the Moses Kotane local municipality, and all 9 of them had delayed opening on account of community protests. But from 10:15 right up to 11:35, we opened those 9 stations. And in the Rustenburg area, Marikana Primary School was opened at 11:35. Also, it had to do with service delivery protests. Now, in the Vryburg area, 2 of our stations did not open on time because the 2 service providers delayed in delivering the tents. So the 1 station at Mooifontein opened at 9:15 and the second station, Grootpan, opened at 10 o'clock. We are going to request the service providers that they leave the tents at the stations so we don't have to worry about opening time tomorrow. In Mahikeng, only 1 station gave us a bit of a problem, and that is the Tsetse Traditional Council office. We did not get the keys at the agreed upon time, but by 8:10 that station was fully functioning, and we're happy.
The issue of stations not opening on time, even with the previous voter registration drive that was happening, there was also that issue of voter stations not opening on time on account of service delivery protest by community members. How is the IEC trying to, how have you been able to handle that today in particular?
We're happy that actually it was less than 10% of our stations that were stopped from opening because area managers did not have access to those stations because the roads were barricaded. But we tried to talk to members of the community to inform them that service delivery and the IEC, the type of service delivery that they expect of the IEC, is actually not the responsibility of the IEC. We try to do this through our voter education programs long before main events such as the registration weekend. However, like I say, 13 of our stations did not open on time, the 11 as a result of protests. So we hope that in future residents will recognize that the IEC is not responsible for service delivery of the nature that they need. Our service delivery to them is to make the stations available and open so they can register and have the opportunity to vote. We do try to listen to them, and where we can find ways of intervention by talking to departments that are involved. And if we're lucky, like in Taung, then we get a positive response. It is a pity that this is happening, but it is what it is.
Talk to us about the voter turnout.
We are pleasantly surprised that over 33,758 to be exact, members of the public interacted with the IEC from 8 o'clock this morning to just before 22:03 this afternoon. And we're happy because despite the fact that those 13 stations did not open on time, we were able to service the members of the public, brand new voters as well as existing voters. And we're happy because of the 33,758, about 6,600 of them are brand new voters. So it seems like our expectation of between 5,000 and 10,000 new voter registrations will be realized by the end of the day tomorrow.
And talking about issue of maybe the system, was there a point, we're talking issues of network, of those that were not able to access, maybe those that tried to register to vote online, even on these voter registration stations? Talk to us about that.
We didn't have a lot of complaints coming about. In fact, we didn't receive any complaints about the online registration. However, VMDs this morning were a bit slow on the voting station monitoring application. Most probably because there is more than 23,000 voting stations across the nation, and most of them were open. Probably about 22,000 to 22,500. So it could be that the system was slowed down because of the load. However, fortunately, it did pick up, because in our case, by 8:30, 96% of our stations had already opened on the VMD, which means the VMD was fully functional. By the way, the VMD can still work offline. It is just that with the opening of the stations, the application that we called VSM did not function. So we got a bit of a delay. But it's not that it didn't function all the time. It was okay, and then it weakened as the morning progressed. But we're happy that at least by 8:30 we were at 96% open voting stations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Tumelontle Thiba, telling us that some of the stations in the Northwest Province were not open on time, but they were able to resolve that. These were disruptions that were caused by residents, particularly on issues of service delivery in the Bojana-Rustenburg area. But she's saying that they are happy at how they were able to handle that situation, and also some of the participants, people that were registering to vote this time on this final registration drive, it's new participants. So on the Northwest side, despite all the challenges that they had, they're saying that they are happy with how things went on the first day of the voter registration weekend.
Thanks a lot to our reporter Refilwe Seboko out in the Northwest.